Hey guys, I want to do a video for you today. We're going to talk about something called the law of return. There's many ways that this is communicated to each other. Just to preface, this is not talking about the law of return, talking about the Jews returning to Israel. This is talking about more of an economic or return on investment type model. And basically what it states, maybe a biblical way of saying it would be that you reap what you sow. Or a more of a secular way of saying would be that you get out of something what you put into it. This is something that we're all accustomed to understanding. This is just a common sense law and principle that says that you get what you pay for. If you buy a $500 car, you're going to get a $500 car. If you buy a $20,000 car, you're going to get a $20,000 car. Now, obviously there's some degree of fluctuation in there. Maybe the individual needed money and you get a $750 car for $500 because you happen to capitalize on his misfortune. But you are not going to get a $20,000 car for $500. Okay, this just goes against the law of return. Now, how does this relate to combative self-defense? Really anything in general, anything that you're going to invest your time into, but we're going to look at it from a combatives perspective. So you guys know who follow me that I attended a course here recently taught by a very well-known individual, and one of the things that has been marketed for his particular program is that he can teach you how to defend yourself in 2 days. And one of the analogies that he uses is that you can go to the fire academy for 22 weeks and learn how to put out fires, but in 4 hours time I can teach you how to properly use a fire extinguisher. Just because you know how to use a fire extinguisher does not make you a firefighter. So basically what he's saying is that there's levels of understanding, and to this I agree with. However, we also have to understand some of the not mentioned disclaimers that are in there, and that is the fact that the whole principle or the whole premise of being able to teach somebody how to defend themselves in 2 days' time is based on three things. Number one, it's based on capitalizing on most people's fear to actually go in there and to train and to commit themselves to a particular program. Most people who have never done anything carry an inherent fear of not succeeding or of getting hurt or of failing or being embarrassed or whatever, but there is a certain level of fear that goes into that. The next thing that really plays upon is what I call the fat pill syndrome. Okay? Most Americans in particular do not want to go to the gym and put in months and months and months of work and doing their dieting and things like this in order to lose weight to go to the beach. What they want is they want a simple, quick fix. Take a pill, even if it gives them cancer. Take a pill, shed the weight, go to the beach, and so on and so forth. They want no effort, no work, no investment whatsoever. They're even willing to pay money if they don't have to invest time. So the last thing is this is simply just a marketing technique. Now this is something that was kind of driven by a video that had been recently put out by PJF on his Patreon channel. So you guys go check out Viking Preparedness and check out, over on Patreon and stuff. He's got a lot of stuff that relates to just general worldly wisdom and stuff like that. But one of the things that he had talked about, in particular, as he was talking about in this video about Southern Prepper 1, made some comments about people training in infantry type tactics and stuff, and PJF had stated basically that the reality is to bring a true infantry type course to the civilian world would not be successful because most civilians do not want to do what infantry guys do. They are not going to want to dig a hole, sleep in it, bury the hole, get up the next day, dig another hole, and so on and so forth. They are not going to want to actually put in the time, the work, the effort in order to be able to do things on the level that actual infantry guys do. And this is something that is not just isolated to military type schools or something being brought to civilians, but this is also something that is just in general permeates our entire American culture, and that is the idea that I can market you and sell you a program that says that you can defend yourself in 2 days, and a lot of people will buy it. And they will buy it because of these things. Now, the question is I give you 2 days of training, and what level is that going to make you? Well, that's going to make you a guy with 2 days of training. Okay? No amount of special ninja skills is going to change the fact that if you spend 2 days training, you still only have 2 days training. I don't care what you learn, what techniques, what tactics, anything like that. All of those will play a certain amount. But again, I can still get a $750 car for $500 if I shop correctly. But I'm not going to get a $20,000 car. Okay? So if you want to take a ride from here to wherever, let's just say South Carolina, I want to take a 1,500-mile trip, guess what? You can do that in a $500 car. You might even be able to do that in a $750 car. But when you break down halfway, you have nobody to blame but yourself, because you only invested that amount of time and money into your transportation. The same thing is said about training in general. If you invest 2 days worth of your time and you expect to come out SWAT Ninja Delta Recon 6, guess what? That's not going to happen. You're not going to get a $20,000 car for $500. And if you think you are, this is you. Fat pill syndrome. Okay? This is you. Fear of embarrassment, fear of failure. All right? That denotes a bigger problem in the individual than the fact that you run the risk of getting your ass kicked somewhere. Okay? I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm not trying to be hurtful. I'm not trying to be spiteful. I'm just trying to be straight up honest with you. Okay? The law of return is there. It stands. It's in stone. It's been there since we've been here. The fact of the matter is you will not get out of something that you are not willing to invest time into. If you want to prep, it's going to require time and effort. If you want to go to medical school, it's going to require time and effort. If you want to learn how to defend yourself, it's going to require time and effort. No matter what you do, you are not going to get away from the law of return. So the question that I have is, I take this 2-day guy's training here. We'll just run a hypothetical scenario here, and I run this guy through my class, and I give him 2 days worth of training. And then I run him up against another guy, and I'm saying, okay, go, you guys spar, you guys fight, whatever, glove up, pad up, all this, and this guy beats the crap out of this guy. As the instructor who sold this guy the problem, what is my response going to be? Well, what's the difference between these two guys? Experience and training. Experience and training is something that's gained over time. There's no shortcut. There's no fast way to do it. Okay? As an instructor, if I sold somebody a 2-day program and told them they can defend themselves and then they get their butt kicked, now I'm in a little bit of a problem here, because I told this guy he could defend himself, and I basically just sold him a bill of goods that I know is not entirely accurate and is not entirely correct. Okay? I may have threw a disclaimer in there. I may have told him, hey, you're a fire extinguisher, you're not a firefighter. That's a nice little disclaimer, but it's also a little bit of a deceptive, evasive type maneuver because of marketing. Because I don't want to market my program as something that basically says, hey, guess what? If you want to be here, you have to put in this. 20 years. I want to be the 20-year guy, I got to put in 20 years. Because I don't want to violate law of return, and I don't want to be in a situation of telling this guy that, give me your money, for 2 days worth of training, that I know full well if you actually went up against somebody who had any level of training at all is going to take your world apart. What I'm going to do is I'm now going to put the impetus on the student that it's his fault. So basically, I end up completely removed of any responsibility when and if this guy fails. If he does good against this guy, then I'm going to boast that my program basically allowed him the ability to go out there and successfully win a fight. But when this guy fails, I'm going to put the responsibility off on him. So no matter what happens, the instructor who sold this guy 2 days worth of training is removed of any responsibility whatsoever. And I'm not going to be that guy. Okay? The fact of the matter is I don't care what you train. If you train spear, taekwondo, boxing, kickboxing, BJJ, I don't care what you train. Any style out there can teach you in 2 days how to defend yourself in a scripted scenario. In a scenario where I hinge I basically put up barriers that say, okay, you can't do this, and so on and so forth. When I remove all of those barriers and I allow both individuals or multiple individuals, if that's the particular goal that you're going for, when I remove all the restraints and I say, okay, defend yourself, 2 days worth of training is still going to look like 2 days worth of training. No amount of SWAT Ninja ass kickery is going to bring you to this level. I don't care what sort of secrets. There are no secrets in any of these types of martial arts. There's no secrets in self-defense. Okay? It's basically beat the other guy up before he beats you up. It's that simple. The way you do that is experience and training. So you guys think about that. Think about the law of return. I hope there's no people going out buying fat pills. I hope there's no people, who really carry that kind of fear into training or allow that fear, because we all had that fear when we started. But I hope it's not that fear that's holding you back from defending yourself, because the fear of actually being in a situation and not having experience in training is far, far worse than what you are thinking training is going to be bringing you. A book that you guys should maybe read is 2 Seconds by Gavin D. Becker, or another one by Gavin D. Becker is The Gift of Fear, that talks about what fear is, what caution is, and basically how to overcome some of those obstacles. So you guys check that out. I also want to say thanks to all the guys on YouTube who subscribe to the channel. You guys have given me opportunity to be able to get my name out there and be able to do things, be able to take some of these trips, to be able to train with other individuals and come back and give you an honest evaluation of their system. Understand that when I give an evaluation of somebody's system, I am not criticizing them in particular. The guy that I just trained with, awesome guy, super great, approachable, have no problem with the individual whatsoever. His research is there. Some of the things that he researches, some of the conclusions that he comes to, I think he's coming to the wrong conclusion. We're both looking at the same evidence, the same research. We just come to 2 different conclusions. I respect him as a professional. I would hope that he would respect me as a professional as well in this particular field. I'm not out there trying to badmouth him, and I don't think that he would do the same to me. But by the same token, I'm not going to sit there and blow sunshine up somebody's ass and tell them that this is a great system, this is something you should spend your time and stuff in, just because it is marketed in a certain way to attract people who don't want to put the time and energy in. For you guys who check out the Patreon channel, where we actually put in a lot of time and effort to putting out classes and stuff like that, I greatly appreciate. Again, you guys' investment has given me the opportunity to be able to go and do some of these things, far more than YouTube, who keeps demonetizing my damn videos and even deleting a few of them. So some of the stuff that I teach, I guess, pisses YouTube off, even though I try not to get political. But anyway, it is what it is, so I just wanted to throw that in there and say thanks to all you guys. So train hard.